What's going on, everybody? It's Bill Bailey with today's Boondoggle, and catching up with a shipmate, good friend of mine for years now, and somebody I truly admire for all he's done in his life since our time in the Navy together. Uh, my brother, Michael Lewis. What's going on, Mike?
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Bill. Thanks for the opportunity to be on talking to you this morning. Thank you.
Yeah, dude. I mean, there's so much I want to cover with your story, and then kind of get us to a certain project that we've kind of connected on.
Yes.
But first things first, I wanted to go back. Usually, when I have a guest on, I like to get their background a little bit. So, originally, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Yeah, I remember in 10th grade, probably in a math class I should have been paying attention to. My mind was wandering, and I knew math wasn't one of the things I wanted to be an expert on. I'm thinking I'd love to be in the military and love to be able to have a good imprint and to be able to help people in my life. And at that point I kind of designed a roadmap, so to speak, of what was going to drive me to get where I wanted to be. So interesting, I wanted to go in the Marine Corps, and I studied, did everything, took the ASVAB. Scored very well, and it was one of those things back then. I'm sure it could still be the same, but I went to go sign. I wanted to get into a certain field, and they're like, we're only doing open contracts today, and that would have been, for it. And I have no, obviously have a lot of friends in the Marines that were in infantry, but that's something, a 4-year commitment of something I really didn't want to do. Wasn't where I wanted to be. Um, so believe it or not, I kind of walked from signing up that day. And my grandfather was in World War II and in the Navy, and I really didn't give the Navy much thought, to be honest, until I had to make another choice then, because I was a little bit devastated of, hey, I wasn't going to go into 4 years in the Marines. Um, so I walked down the hallway, and the Navy was giving, at the time, it was, I think, the Seafarers program, where I had to do, I was 2 years and then a couple years in the reserves.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, so it worked out good, allowed me, um, at 17 years old, some good experience in and out in literally a year and a half. Um, and then I did drill for a short time in Cleveland. And then I kind of reconnected, rejoined the Navy in, I think, 95 or 6 with you. So yeah, that was kind of the early stages of knowing and understanding things that were bigger than me. Growing up in a suburb of Cleveland, I was kind of just like all of us, I guess, kind of in our own bubble, so to speak, and seeing the world or seeing different perspectives of people that were, you know, 20 years older than us and doing good things. I thought that was pretty motivating for me to really set the course for the rest of my life then. Um, at the time too, I mean, I didn't have the money, I didn't have the resources for college. Um, it seemed like back then only the rich kids went to college. Um, so that also afforded me the opportunity for college. And then I still believe, education is a lifelong process. The degrees and the diplomas are nice, but it's also the experience of what you put into it. So, I did receive my 4-year degree, actually in 3 years, with working full time and stuff like that too. Um, and then I received my master's degree and then a PhD as well eventually. And kind of leading, fast forwarding to kind of where we're at now is really the kind of the impetus of kind of what I'm doing for my doctoral dissertation. I um, focused in on um, my research was for trying to solve some type of issue for social services issue for homeless veterans. And while I guess I really didn't know what I was getting into until I started to really research it and to be able to, connect with um, executive directors, people, in charge of managing programs like that. So that was pretty. I could talk more about that, but that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, yeah. You definitely went through the timeline pretty quick. I want to take you back like to the your time when you first were on active duty though.
Mhm.
Um, so you knew I think it was like the apprenticeship program or whatever. That's kind of what I did too, the 2
Right.
years active and then went into the reserves.
Yes.
And but what were during your time in, I don't know which way. I was originally going in as like a seaman, and then I, something about the air side caught my eye, and I transferred over to that
Right.
part. But what was your course? You ended up staying as a
Yeah. So yeah, I didn't have any designation or anything like that, and I was engineman, the fire, and then the fireman.
okay, yeah. And then what were some of the oddest things that you like witnessed or experienced during that time?
Yeah, I think I mean, I played football and I wrestled in high school, and I think mentally I was certainly prepared for the military. But I think just again that exposure of the vastness of the unknown, at 17, 18 years old, of getting orders and being uh, into a strange place, kind of without a safety net. I adapted, I think, very well, and experienced that, kind of, I guess, kind of like the for those individuals that went to college, kind of that experience. You're on your own. The decisions that you make, have consequences. Staying out too late, or doing things that you probably shouldn't be doing. Um, that happens. And it's a learning curve. So again, I think that's, to me, that was a good experience of, hey, you could push the envelope only so far before it's going to come down on you. So
Yeah.
that's
Some
normal, I
some learn quicker than others too. I think I was still learning by the time we connected.
think. Well, yeah, yeah, that's okay though, right?
Yeah. And then, like, what was like one of the? Would you say was one of the worst places you served in during your time active?
I was in Qatar, so that was, I think it was hot, it was miserable. It was just kind of 12 hours, more than that. It was like 12 or 16 hours on, and just a few hours, of rack time and stuff like that. So it was just a long, long deployment with nothing good. It was just it was just kind of one of those. I wish I could be anywhere but here right now.
Yeah.
And
And
then
then what?
together we've had some good times too. Some
Yeah,
good.
yeah. I was gonna say, what was some of your one of the best places you served?
I've been. I don't know if we went to Hawaii together, but I know that was good. I enjoyed that. But honestly, I think our trip together for whatever it was, a month in Alaska, was probably one of those times where we, not only you and I connected, but like just as a unit, or on our boat, we all connected, and we worked hard. Then when we were able to, we played hard too. We had fun. I mean, it was you know sometimes very inclement weather. It rained, and probably snowed a little bit there, and the time we were there, and then it was beautiful. So, but it was just, yeah, I think it was really that deployment showed some good character of all of us. Really formed some bonds and brotherhood. That still lasts today.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, that was definitely up there with strong memories. And it's like you said, man, it's like we were like hauling ass, taking a quick, but there was definitely a lot of that hurry up and wait. So it's
Yep.
like once we dropped off the equipment and the people, we had to stand fast there in the water. So we made the most of it. We got some fishing rods, we caught some
Yep.
bass, we uh
Salmon. Yeah. Yeah.
they're salmon, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Right.
And
Th-
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely good times. And then back at the hut, it was a lot of ball busting and bonding and
for sure.
stuff like that, man.
I look back now, too, like with that, and you brought up a good point, and that's regardless of what branch in the military you're in, and regardless of what's going on. A lot of it is hurry up and wait, and that downtime is, you know, that's difficult, for especially people with always on the go and our minds are racing and stuff, and just to sit and wait after in anticipation for something or after, and it's still that downtime. It's just it's difficult, it really is. So again, I think that's that perseverance of people moving and being able to be disciplined enough to have that in us to say, "But we're going to make the best of it." I mean, and yeah, and do something other than just be miserable. So
Yeah, yeah. And usually in our warped heads, I mean, we come up with some pretty wild stuff to keep ourselves busy and occupied,
e-
but
yeah,
that was
right,
just part of the bonding too, it just strengthened
exactly,
our
right,
bond. And what I liked too is just like, you know, it, I mean, I couldn't imagine having to do that like solo or with like, people you didn't know,
right.
I
Yep,
mean, it makes it so much better to have that real, and because we were the plus with that whole thing too is like being a unit from Cleveland, you know, it wasn't like just like once your orders are done and you transfer to a different place and you got to make all new friends and start all over. It's like even when we were done, we all could meet up locally and
right.
continue that growth like me and you have,
Absolutely, yeah,
for I don't know
and
how many
oh,
years now,
yeah,
you know.
forever, yeah. And I was going to say, and I appreciate that over all these years, you've reached out and maintained, a lot of good relationships and friendships, and I would love to get back to go and do our Christmas or our holiday type of activity. That was awesome. I mean, I really for a couple years there, really looked forward to that. That was awesome. I guess just going back and catching up. And unfortunately, as I just looked at those pictures not too long ago, and unfortunately, people, aren't here anymore. So yeah, taking advantage of the time that we have is, I think, very important.
Yeah, definitely. When Tim was battling cancer, it kind of like lit a fire to try and get everybody together as often as we could.
Right.
And I'm thankful that we were able to do that, not just for him, but for us,
Me too.
But then, then losing Gary, one of the horsemen, one of
Yep.
our real tight brothers,
Yep.
unexpectedly, man, was just,
Right. Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely a wake up call. And I want to get back to that. And now that this, it seems like, the COVID's finally like dying down with everything, I think we
Right.
can make it happen.
Let's
You
do
know,
it.
I,
Yeah.
I, I ran into Mazars the other day. I was up at,
Mhm.
um, ran up to the exchange for something, and he was up there, filling his shopping cart,
Oh,
and I
nice.
was like, yeah, man, we got to get, Tim would want us to keep going on, man, and get these reunions going.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Once this Omicron slows down, and I'm like, oh, it looks like it's slowing down. I think we can
Right.
start planning something, hopefully.
Maybe we could do something like in June or July, and then like that other June or like in December, like 6 months, maybe, just to kind of kick things off in the a cookout or something in the summer. So yeah, it was something we could talk about.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. We'll definitely have to get together and plan
Yeah.
something out.
And that's
Um,
really, oh, go ahead.
And I wanted to ask, like, going back to your time transitioning out of the military, what was, did and you've been involved with, I mean, you've had to deal with civilians in your uh, job, when you were a law enforcement officer. I want to touch on that a little bit.
Mhm.
But first coming out of the military originally, what was like one of your pet peeves, would you say, with civilians when you were first transitioning out?
Yeah, good question. Just kind of the lack of focus, lack of discipline. Um, people, again, people with no purpose. I think I think that was such a good experience for me. And I mean, I had again, being an athlete, I mean, I still, still was, I understood all sides of people in life, but I just think that, when you're now as an adult, and you're or in your 20s, that, didn't have any goals, didn't have any plans. Again, I kind of solidified. I did. I really solidified. I think my foundation. I think at 15. You know, and by hook or crook, I stuck to it. You know, I always look at I look back now and reflect. And I still like you know the things that I do. I want to do by design, not by default. I don't want to have people tell me what I have to do. I've never liked being kind of put in a box and not being able to get out of it. So, yeah, I think the kind of the lack of discipline I saw, when I came back. Um, but in that same turn though, too, I mean, I got married, bought a house. Yeah, I did. I was in law enforcement, so that kind of put that transition from military to to the job pretty easy then.
Yeah, yeah. And like, so when we met, you were police officer, and we were in the reserves. We'd get together on our drill weekends, and
Mhm.
like I said, we formed a friendship, so we'd get together even outside of drill weekends and everything. But as time went on, well, first let me ask you this, before we like kind of wrap up your active duty part. What is something that you will always carry with you from your time of service?
Just being mission focused in anything I do, being a visionary, having the plan and going out and doing the best of my ability. I think that's that honor, courage, and commitment, and that can do attitude is, again, it's served me, through my mid 50s now. So the Navy did something right for me. You know,
Nice. And then,
I just came up with that too.
what was that?
I just came up with that.
Oh, well, I mean, we're going to get into how well spoken you are too, with some of the other things that you've accomplished. But I know you should have plenty of these, but so it'd probably be tough to narrow it down. But what's one of the funniest stories you feel you could share from your time in service?
Um, oh boy.
And it doesn't have to be ACU too. It could even be, if there's something from before.
Um, uh, I don't know. Yeah, there's probably a lot of them. A lot of probably shouldn't talk about. But I remember. Do you remember Gary Lee? I think that was his
Yeah,
name.
yeah.
We were in where the heck were we? Somewhere, San Diego or Mayport maybe. And we whatever our thing was down there. He was a big surfer. He used to surf in Lake Erie in the wintertime. I mean, he was like hardcore. And I had never surfed ever. But I'm like, we were rooming together, so we went out and rented boards, but we were supposed to stay in our room and stuff like that. And like at 3 o'clock in the morning, we waxed up the boards and went surfing. Because we're right on the ocean, and it was terrible. It was miserable. Couldn't see it. I mean, I didn't do anything other than just hold on to the board. And the next morning, we came out and I saw the dude, no swimming, high shark area or something like that. And like a week or two before we were there, there was somebody that was attacked by a shark. It was a real infested area. I'm like, 3 o'clock in the morning, but great. Nobody even knew we were out there,
And with no experience ever
Oh,
surfing,
yeah. So that
God.
one, I got the, yeah, I burnt one of my lives on that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And then what is like one of your greatest hopes for the nation that you were willing to you know basically give your life for?
Yeah, good question. Especially, obviously, with well over the years, obviously there's new and evolving and fluid situations that are negative in our society. And my hope and aspiration is for good men and women, to be able to continue to want to serve, in the military, and to be able to go out and perform their duties, to the best of their abilities with no prejudice or bias. And again, I see unfortunately some of that, you know, not like it used to be. So it'd be nice to be able to really have that unity and want to come back and be continue to be strong. I think that's very important.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I mean, you said that unity. I mean, I don't know. I've been through a lot of manifestations and different crowds, different environments since my time in and out. I mean, in recovery, and there's some good, solid, reliable people in that program
Right.
too. But nothing compares to the bonds we made. I think, especially with our ACU2 brothers. When we were
100%.
locally. I
Yep.
mean, I could call up if I had. I mean, Tim, did most of the construction in my home here. The remodeling projects. Man, every time I look at my backsplash and my counters in my kitchen, I think of Tim. Every time I take a shower, I think of Tim, which
Right.
sounds weird, but I mean, he did my ceramic tile, and
That's
and
awesome.
this is just the brotherhood. If I had any kind of you know issue with any kind of whatever, I mean, I know I could call you up. I could call.
Right.
Um, I think one time I tried calling you to get me out of a ticket or something, but
Oh, we've done it. You're right. Yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
not only
But
we talk the talk, we've walked the walk, and and that's true. I mean, again, salt of the earth people, we've had the pleasure and honor to serve with, and again, our connections go beyond just the military or just being able to stand and muster, on drill weekend or something. It goes beyond that. Like you said, it's you know, and through life, hey, both of us have had these conversations and have helped each other out. There's no such thing as a perfect life. We've all had our issues, our demons, our problems, but to rely and to be able to cry on each other's shoulders and offer some assistance, yeah, that's what it's about. And you can't
yeah,
get that just with in every job or a college dorm or something like that. So yeah,
no, definitely, because it's like very selfish and self-centered kind of world, and
yep,
it was those times that we mentioned, like the down times, the hurry up and wait times, that strengthen our bonds, the times that suck, being out there in inclement weather, being in
yep,
hairy situations,
right,
it just brought us closer together. So we knew what it was like to be in the suck together, you
right,
know,
yep.
and we also knew what it was like to be in the good times, and you know,
Yeah, exactly. I
and we
mean,
would try and make laughter and joy even in the worst times. I guess that's something I've carried is a dark sense of humor that
you have to, right. Yeah,
people out there, sometimes I let stuff slip around the wrong company. I'm like, well, I know my military brothers be laughing their ass off right now. These people's heads start spinning.
exactly. And again, to your testament, doing 20 years or plus, I mean, that's a long time. I look back now and I think that again, life circumstances and working full time, going to college full time, having a family, it was difficult. I think ultimately that making that decision not to stay in for the 20 years, but maybe I don't. It's probably too late now, but to go back, I don't think I fit my uniforms. Uh, but yeah, you did. Yeah, your experience spanned a long time, and again, a lot of good times and some bad, and we get through it though. And again, having each other, having people you can rely on is really important.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I don't know, some of those times, I guess looking back, that the fact that I was able to make it 20, because some of those times, were like, you know, I was quite a handful, and I guess I don't know if it was enabling or they just people liked me enough to take care of me, so I was able to get those 20 years. But
Good for you.
thankfully,
You're
I try and pay it back now with my life today, with I'm approaching 13 years sober, you know,
God bless.
um,
Great. Yep, that's a
and
long time.
yeah, and you knew how wild I could get back in the day, and it's just like I'm trying to pay it back, the grace and the what was given to me now, and try and give
Right.
back to others, man. So,
Nope. That's
um, but speaking of some of the wild times and stuff, what are some of your favorite ACU2 memories?
well, I mean, I even go back again, not to go back to the Alaska, but remember, can't remember. It was a so just for those that maybe aren't familiar with that. Um, deployment, it was a joint task force. So every branch of the service, including the Coast Guard, I think were there on that island,
Yeah.
right? And it was I think he was a colonel in the army. Remember we weren't supposed to leave for another day, and we convinced the colonel in charge of the base to right. You were on that.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Was that the what when we flew home early or?
He, we convinced him to take us by boat and then by car to the airport. And at that time, I mean, we totally should have got in trouble for that. This poor guy was, I
Yeah,
mean, literally a colonel in the army, and
and we
we're
manipulated him into like
we
we
scammed
can't miss
him
our plane.
getting out early. He did. He hustled us, and we never even had tickets. So we got on standby. Remember? Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, we're running through the airport with our sea bags, and we somehow I don't know how boarded that plane. I think they waited for us, and literally I think it was the four of us, and
yeah. It was. It was just the horseman, the original
we had the
horseman.
last four seats on that plane. They held the plane up, and we left a day and a half early. How's that even possible?
Yeah, yeah. Not get like. I mean, I think we got like a little lecture, but we didn't get
Yeah,
nothing in our records or anything.
yeah,
From the
yeah,
rest of the unit. And I mean, looking back now too, it's like because ACU2 was always big on unit integrity and staying together. So
yeah,
that was you know we kind of like were the rebels in that day. And I remember we like this is back before like cell phones and stuff, where we took that one picture, you know,
yeah.
and usually it would have like the date and time
Right.
in the corner. And I was like, hey, we point over here,
Oh,
but
yeah,
unfortunately we pointed on the wrong side, and the date and time was on the other side. So when the picture got developed, but we
right.
were all like took the picture together pointing, so
Yeah,
we
you're
could
right.
show
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So we can
yeah,
show the rest of the guys, look at your orders.
yeah.
You
You're
had to
right.
stay an extra day.
Exactly. And you bring up a good point too. Like, look at all the years that we served, in the military and stuff like that before Facebook, before cell phones. Yeah, I'm surprised we have. I mean, the pictures and stuff that we had again is wonderful. But yeah, there's the old camera and stuff like that. Um, but look at like now. I mean, how much more fun we would have had, or But thank goodness for like Facebook now because it really has connected. The ACU2 groups, and I mean, there are people that I went to high school with that were over the years in ACU2 that I would have never even known that. So it's kind of cool to be connected through social media. Again, it sounds,
Yeah.
sound, I sound old saying that, but that's the reality of it. I mean, before that, I mean, how many service members kind of lost connections with their fellow brothers and sisters? I mean, a lot. So thank
Yeah.
goodness for Facebook. Seriously, and social media.
Yeah. I mean, there's a plus and a negative to it, because if we would have documented a lot of the stuff we did
Right.
on social media back then, who knows?
Well, yeah,
You
even
know?
going to like in Cleveland, going to Dick's. Remember Dick's Last Resort and stuff like
Yeah.
that. You kind of disappearing for a few hours. Uh,
Yeah.
statute of limitations over, so we can talk about that stuff now.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, I mean, I remember though back then, everything was on film, on
Yeah,
camera, and
right.
you know, and I'm glad I was always kind of big on pictures, even though like
Yeah.
there was some that it's like okay, these can't see the light of day. But the
Hmm.
funny part was back then, it's just like you take them to get developed, and the look on the faces when I'd go collect
They're horrified.
my pictures, like what is wrong with these people? Should I report them to the authorities?
Exactly. Right. Yep. That's funny. No, but yeah, having those having something to document time is important. Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I mean, I guess over the years I've had enough, but geez, not as probably as many as I would like to now. Thinking back.
Oh yeah, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Even going to, and I can't remember his name. It's terrible. Up at Camp Perry or Port Clinton.
Captain Lambert.
Oh, Lambert's. Yeah, yeah, right. Yep.
Yeah,
I mean, those are phenomenal. It's a great times, right? I mean,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
is
Definitely.
he still around, or does he have that property still? Or
I have no idea. I don't know if anybody's, uh, you know,
hmm,
who may have been in touch with him. I'd have to ask around. I'm sure somebody like Medvic or maybe Mr. Box or somebody
mm-hmm.
kept some sort of contact with him. Be nice to maybe plan a little thing in the summer. If
that
his
would
property's still there, like
that
a
would
cookout there, man.
yeah, exactly. Yep,
You
yep.
know,
Sounds good to
but
me.
let's talk a little bit about like what led you into law enforcement for the time that you did that.
Yeah, so same thing, that path of wanting to understand that there's more important things than just myself, and that there's a higher purpose, for service. Yeah, it just was a natural fit. You know what I mean? As soon as I got out, I got hired. Just literally, I don't even know if I was quite 21 yet, but through the schooling and stuff like that. But so I got in very early. Um, and again, I got into it to help people, to be able to be a good force, not go write tickets or just arrest people, that type of thing. I mean, and I truly did. I mean, I felt that was a good career choice for me. It felt like something that was still going back. I wouldn't want to be doing it now. I mean, I was able to retire out very early, but I had other interests. Again, continuing my education, opened up my eyes. Opened up, that hey, there's more to just serving my community, in law enforcement, that there's other interests, and I'll kind of digress a little bit into that, but through that, I've always been kind of an entrepreneurial spirit, so yeah, I've, kind of got my real estate license, and just really didn't do much with it until more recently. I've owned, obviously, my gyms and stuff like that too. Um, but the more education I got, the more I started to do also teaching part time, which led me to, teaching at the university for a long time. And this is the first year now I kind of flip flopped of teaching full time to doing real estate full time. So yeah, I've done a couple different things that, although they seem like they're opposite ends of the spectrum, career wise, each each experience in my career has helped me to advance to the next stage. And again, some people are like, well, I want to be a cop for 40 years, or I want to be, a teacher for 40 years. That's never been me. It's probably not the best path, to do, but I like to accept new challenges. I like to accept different opportunities, and I guess I have achieved that. But yeah, law enforcement was great. Met a lot of good people, met a lot of bad people too. I mean, just there's difficult situations, but again, that's, I think, the military training and background, and having the military bearing, so to speak, certainly helped with the things and success I've had and achieved in law enforcement.
Yeah, and like you touched on some more of the stuff that I want to get into. Like I said, why I admire you so much for, your continuing to evolve. There's has been no like, it's almost like, and you know, I guess will be maybe a segue into kind of like the I don't know what came first. Well, I mean, I guess you were like going to school while you were in law enforcement, working full time, and then did you become a professor before you owned the gym, or
Yes.
okay? So I guess I'll stay with the timeline because I definitely want to, it's like when you plateau in your workouts, you got to change things up,
Right.
to
Yep.
continue to grow, and that's what you've made your life. So like, let's talk about uh, pursuing your education, and like what kind of like led you to be like, what, I want to, you became a professor and be able to teach others, what
Yeah.
kind of
No.
called
Yeah.
that?
Again, I was satisfied in law enforcement, but working full time in law enforcement, you see that there's some uncertainty. There's some things that you typically, people don't call you to say, hey, you're doing a good job, or hey, it's sunny out today. Thanks, the world's great. They call you when the time is bad, right? And and things are bad. So I always kept that in the back of my mind, like and just like coming to the reserve. I'm going to go back a little bit to the reserves. Like I knew once a month, I get to see and socialize with people, that aren't going to tell me all their problems, or have to just deal with one segment of society, or just other law enforcement officers. Got to deal with a lot of cool people. I mean, I always like that. Same thing with education. I mean, I didn't have that opportunity, excuse me, or afforded that opportunity as a kid to come out of college. My parents didn't have the money. I mean, I mean, I probably was smart enough, but I know I wasn't ready for it at 18, to go to college. Didn't have that opportunity. So that was something I always knew I wanted to do. And I think just kind of the impetus of dealing with bad things all the time put me in a good frame of mind for education. Um, so yeah, I took it serious. I mean, I was, like I said, I was working full time, and then I was I was going to school full time for a lot of years, and so and then I started teaching part time in at the police academy. I got a part time job then as I'm still going to college and full time with going for my PhD. Now the PhD was 130 credit hours, just like a 4-year degree, plus then of classes, and then the dissertation and research. So and I was teaching. I really connected. I was like, wow, I could really. This is pretty cool, standing in front of a classroom. But again, I was doing it part time. Then I had the opportunity to kind of retire out early and jump right into to teaching full time. And I thought about long and hard about that. If is that something at this point in my life should I do? And the answer, soul search, and the answer was yes. So education, teaching. Still finishing my PhD, teaching full time. I traveled. I've been to Czech Republic. I've been to Romania. I've been to Poland with our affiliates and teaching overseas. Phenomenal, great experience. It was better than I was treated better than when I was in the military traveling overseas. But yeah, being and having that impact on students is awesome. I mean, like I'm still in contact with. I mean, I couldn't even tell you how many students I've been to. Your kids' baptisms. I've been to their weddings. I mean, so yeah, it's pretty cool to have that opportunity to be an educator. So one parlayed into the next, and it just was like a perfect fit.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like I remember like first hearing that that's what you were doing, and I always kind of like I was just like, because you've always been like a big, active, you know, muscle dude, and I was just like, oh, he's got brains too, get out of
I heard
here.
you saying that. You did say that, right? I fooled everybody, even fooled myself.
but no, I mean, like I said, I mean that's it's something I definitely admired over the years. Is just that drive and that mindset. You've got that growth mindset
Well,
that
thank you.
I still, even almost 50 years old, struggle to try and get myself into, and it's just so powerful, like what we can accomplish with that type of mindset. And it sounded like you had it in 10th grade, when
I
you
think that's
saw
where
your plan,
yeah,
you know,
oddly
and
enough.
it's definitely helped you a lot. And you know being a professor and now kind of sharing that and kind of instilling that in others, having a family, got your three sons who all kind of different paths that they have their own characteristics. Like my daughters are complete
Right,
opposite,
right,
but they're excelling in what they're pursuing, you
exactly,
know
right. Yep.
and it's been good to watch. I remember when, I think you just had the one, and then all of a sudden there's another, and then there's the third. I mean, I've
Yeah,
been around for all that.
right. Yeah, yeah. Likewise. Yeah. Yep. For sure. Yeah. There's, again, it's great to have stories and stuff like that, but the best and the best accomplishments I think I could say, and maybe you as well, is watching our children grow up and be successful, and raising them. There's no greater joy than that. It really is.
Yeah, that's going to be more our legacy than all the other outside accolades.
Right. Yep.
What kind of humans are we putting out into the
Yeah.
world? You
Exactly.
know,
Right.
and and one thing that you're was Michael your oldest or
He's a middle.
middle
Mhm.
one? But I mean, one thing that we got in common, with
Right.
him and my daughter, they're both doing jujitsu, and
Yep.
they, Celeste did wrestle a little bit,
I remember
uh,
that.
in the
Yeah.
youth thing, and your son's kind of like, I mean, Michael's. Would you say he's more like how you were in high school?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because I mean, I was although I was a good wrestler, um, I mean, he wrestled since he was 6 years old. I never pushed him to wrestle. He wanted to, and I mean, he went to states like in his sixth grade year, his eighth grade year, and then he went to states and placed both his junior and senior year in high school. So yeah, his level of wrestling excellence and technique were far beyond what I ever did. So yeah, he was definitely really good. And again, being 26 years old now, I mean, he's still active. Yeah, the wrestling background. I mean, what he wrestled 12 plus years. Really has served him well in jiu-jitsu. So yeah, he really loves it.
Yeah, man,
I
that's been
love
great.
we still go. I go. I'm his biggest fan. I'll still go watch him. At the tournaments. And just like with your daughter too. I want to get out there and watch her wrestle or compete. With jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. And I think when she was wrestling youth, I think we went and watched her once too. But yeah, it's awesome to see the kids grow and
Yeah,
develop.
yeah,
You know,
definitely, man. I definitely am all about them being doing. There's none of that like. I mean, I guess there was one point where it's just like you kind of get caught up in living vicariously through your kids, but I'm more for like I just want to see them succeed and do so much better than I could,
right?
than I did, and I don't want them to have the same. I want them to overcome the fears and pitfalls now that maybe I carried on for way too long, and I still carry. You
But
know,
that's good. Right? To be able to pass along and to be able to have our children better than a step above us or something like that. That's positive. That's a good thing. We did our job, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I know
for sure.
what you mean.
And speaking of I guess physical fitness and stuff like that, you've always kind of been power lifter and um, um, had that that love for weightlifting and stuff like that, but also being an entrepreneur, you owned your own gym for a while.
Hmm.
I got the opportunity to come there and train
Yeah,
with you a couple times, and what is it, George? I think.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man. Oh my God, that guy could still kick all of our asses.
Almost 70 years old, and he's still a beast. Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
He was,
yeah. He's
he
like
was
our Jack LaLanne or something.
yeah, no, he was my an English teacher and my wrestling coach. I mean, that's how a small world. We connected, and yeah, we're business partners together later in life. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So let's talk a little bit about that. That process of
Yeah, and
becoming a
actually,
gym owner, business owner.
yeah, yeah. So George was a big, driver of me, being a high school kid, as far as weight training. And I started working out like when I was 12, but I got kind of serious into it, and it's really never left, except for now. The past few years has been a little bit not so good health wise, but I'm bouncing back. But yeah, I competed for a lot of years, powerlifting. I did strongman. It, again, that was a hobby of mine. I mean, I'm somewhat normal. I still, I mean, I still like to fish or do normal things, but pick something extremely heavy off the floor. That just appealed to me for some reason. I don't know why, but in my spare time, I like to do that. And so yeah, I competed for many years, and knock on wood, and I stayed pretty healthy, really. So the entrepreneurship, I've had some other, businesses and stuff like that, just side stuff over the years, and that was something that I wanted to do. I had to begin part of it, and I had to end game. I wanted to do this business. I couldn't do it. Don't had no interest doing it full time, of course, but I surrounded myself with good people, and we had the two gyms for like 6 years, and I wanted to stay, between 5 to 7 years, and then sell, which was good. Um, and we did. I think 2017. I think we sold both facilities, but oh, it was great. Yeah, we had our own competitions, we had our own meets, we had trained wrestlers. We had the functional gym too that we just climbed rope. We did all sorts of cool stuff. I mean, so not only like were we in great shape, because you had to be, we helped other people be in good shape. Again, from teenagers to senior citizens. I mean, it was positive. Everything we did at the gym was positive. Again, we had an end game in mind. And it was time to go. It was sad, but it was time to sell. And move on. But yeah, the gym was great. I mean, we had lots of fun there, and again helped the people's health improve over course of time.
Yeah, and I mean, like everything that you've been involved with, there's been a lot of opportunities for networking, you
Oh yeah,
know,
right.
and I mean, you've definitely. I know. I remember you sharing some stories with me during the gym ownership period about networking and connecting with, and we got it coming up. I think next
Yeah.
weekend, the Arnold Classic. You were able to connect with people there, and actually, you got to meet Arnold, right?
Oh yeah. So actually, the gentleman who's in charge of all of his security was one of my students, believe it or not,
Oh
years ago.
yeah,
Yeah. And so yeah, for a long time. Right now, it's changed a little bit. The Arnold, yeah, I didn't miss an Arnold forever. Um, and through Bill, yeah, we got to meet Arnold personally. It was in his hotel room. And was chatting with him. And again, just seeing him on the big screen, or knowing, being a kid reading his books, or looking, trying to eventually want to emulate him, which I never did, but kind of, I don't want to say childhood idol, but yeah, in a sense, and to be able to talk to him and just kind of pick his brain, just a very cerebral individual. Same thing, a big guy. You'd think he wasn't that smart. The guy's on point. He's amazing. And I guess now he's a vegan actually, which is interesting, which is probably a good, kind of a good thing, health
yeah,
wise.
yeah. I've seen that too, and I
Right.
don't know, man. I mean, me and you both have kind of had similar health stuff going on that
Yeah.
I never thought I'd ever be considering that lifestyle. But if there's anybody that kind of like
Right.
could motivate me, I guess it'd be Arnold.
I know. Right. Yep. So yeah,
Give that a shot.
yeah, going to the Arnold Festival every year again. Just you you see how many people. I mean, I've ran into people, that I haven't seen in years, or met friends, or just by chance, and stuff like that. But what a great experience, to if anybody is interested in kind of checking out the Arnold. It's more than just obviously a bodybuilding type of competition or meet. It's a venue. It's from fencing to painting. It's just really an amazing event. It really is. Next year we'll get back on track. I promise you on that.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, a couple guys from my jiu-jitsu gym are actually going to be training or competing.
Oh, oh, good.
They got a, I think, grappling industries or
Yep.
something
Okay, right.
this
Oh, awesome.
weekend down there, so they'll be down there
Excellent.
for sure. But yeah, I mean, the one time I went, the experience I had, it wasn't just like, a bunch of like weightlifting and stuff like that. There's all kinds of things, and in fact, I met you know, my sponsors for this podcast, Dream Nutrition, their
Oh,
CBD company down there,
yep.
and they're veteran owned and operated. And I, hit it off with them, connected with them. And now these years later doing this, they're like, yeah, yeah, we'll be, one of your
Right.
sponsors. So there's
Fantastic.
an
That's great.
opportunity that part of that networking, I was
Right.
able to do down there.
Yes. Yep.
But, but yeah, man, definitely, hopefully, this time next year, me and you can hit it up,
Yep. We
you
will
know?
for sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
And then, kind of now getting to current events. So you now you said you kind of like, even while you're in school, you had your real estate license. Like
Yeah.
when did you originally get your real estate license, and now you're just doing it more full time?
Yeah. So it's interesting. Like, again, trying to, I always say, I rip off Peter Drucker by saying the best way to create your best way to predict your future is to be able to create it. So again, in my mind, like the long short game, the long game of things. And so yeah, I really didn't do much with it, but it helped me negotiate leases, and for my gyms and stuff like that. So I knew that, I knew I had to do something, multitasker after the gyms were done. So I built that my business up, and I had like a 5 to 10 year plan of, like, I could, if I wanted to, I could sustain myself, I mean, financially and in real estate. But it was more of a long game. You know, Being an educator, I was obviously off in the summers, and stuff like that. So I had the time. to do that. And it just, again, a lot of times it came back to people I knew from different organizations and clubs, or that I belonged to. It's just like the floodgates kind of opened up for me in real estate, and it fast tracked exponentially a lot quicker than I had thought. And this summer, I kind of had to decide that where do I want to be. So I kind of flip flopped. I'm teaching part time now, and then doing the real estate full time. And then, yeah, I had the opportunity to become the real estate development director for the nonprofit because there was an opportunity, and you're a part of it, and I appreciate everything that you're doing with this too. Is a veteran housing project. It's a mixed use development project in Cleveland southeast side, very impoverished area. Um, Again, it was one of those things that came about. I wasn't really necessarily even thinking I wanted to do this, but it caught me. I met the folks at Ridall, which is um, an urban farm off of Kinsman. You've been there many times and are good friends. They love you down at Ridall. Matter of fact, I'm going there on Tuesday again. But just a really good group of people that care about their community, and literally have 26 acres of farmland in inner city. It's crazy. So kind of partnering with them and the nonprofit, focusing in on, again, helping people, right? Helping our veterans. Very impoverished area. There's a lot of homelessness. There's a lot of course, substance abuse. Emotional issues. So getting folks off the street um, is a big task, and I'm tasked with the development of it, the real estate development of it. So yeah, we've secured 3 acres, and still going through the process of getting money. All it takes is money, of course, um, but we're going to build, nice housing, transitional housing, permanent housing, whatever the homeless veteran needs. And then also we're providing them with a service center for counseling, and it's going to be kind of the toggle between the VA and then an off-site type of service for, you know whether it's AA meetings or whatever it's going to be. That's kind of TVA yet, but so yeah, that's and we had an Armed Forces Day event. I guess it was May 14th or 15th, May 14th, and I put this event on with the assistance of Ridall. Brought in one of our old shipmates. He's Army Reserve now, or National Guard, but I brought in the Marine Corps Color Guard. We brought in some veterans. I wanted at least 50, 60 people there. Didn't quite get that many, but we brought in a lot of veterans, including yourself, and I appreciate your support. You gave a nice presentation as well. So, again, a lot of it was just for kind of awareness and also for some fundraising. And we did, that day did yield, some funds for us to continue to move this project forward. So, I don't know if
Yeah.
you anything else to say with that, but like I said, you've been, I mean, all the times that we've had socially down there and had lunch or just walked and took tours and did different things. It's such an amazing place. It's kind of the Zen place where you can go and kind of get your mind right. And I think that they're doing such a good job with helping, veterans in need. And again, that just seems like it's such a good, um, it was a good fit for me.
Yeah, and like I'll add, like, I mean, you thankfully you included me and brought me in, and I got to meet, like Walt and Dr. Greenhands, and
Right.
just like, I mean, they served in a different era than us,
Yep.
but and different life circumstances and different whatever, but it's just that common bond that we served. We like we
Right.
hit it off right away and immediately became like tight, like
Absolutely.
new
Right.
family members. And that place it's like an oasis in a very impoverished area. It
Hmm.
is like I mean, Garden of Eden there, kind of in the in a really rough in the center of a really rough neighborhood, and I just fell in love with how it made me feel. I fell in love with the passion these guys had and the vision. That I definitely I feel bad, but I mean we still got our stuff going on in our lives and whatever. That I haven't been down there in a while, but I do have, I mean the guy is a boxing trainer, and he trains the UFC guy I was telling you about at
Mhm.
my gym, and they are very interested in coming down and meeting them and seeing if they can integrate some sort of program to help when the veterans are there. Um, just gotta, Cleveland weather right now. So once we get through
Yeah,
this
once the weather breaks, yeah, we'll
yeah,
make it.
we'll definitely make it happen. But I definitely I haven't forgotten about those guys. They're still on my mind. I still got plans. There's other things that I'm looking into that I'll keep you in the loop on, um, to try and help them make this success down there.
Great.
And definitely, hopefully we can do something, with them eventually on this to get the word out more,
Yeah, sure. Right.
um, where people can like donate and maybe a little fundraiser, my Jerry Lewis Boondoggle telethon or something for the Ridall guys.
Exactly right. Yeah.
But,
And
but
again,
yeah,
it comes full circle again to be, it really truly is a blessing to be connected with you at even different levels now too. Over the years of going to concerts and standing muster together, and now, yeah, kind of like you said earlier too, giving back and being a part of something bigger. Like, yeah, going there and right. I mean, from Vietnam to the 70s, service and stuff like that. We do we get along down there and talk and again the ages are different and the experiences are different, of course, but um, yeah, what a cool connection to have again and to be a part of that.
yeah, and the other thing too. I mean, the race difference.
Hmm.
I
Right.
mean, which outside, if we buy into all the stuff that the media and everything wants to keep pushing the division and stuff like that, I don't know, man. During our time we all were the same color, and it was the uniform we wore,
Percent. Yeah.
and just when I connected with Walt and Dr. Greenhands, there was no like well, these guys are black or anything like that. It was just like we were all service members from different eras, different,
Yep.
like I said, lifestyles, different races, and it was just like we all, have a passion for helping our fellow veterans out, and there was no, so I mean, I know it's a touchy subject, out there in the world, but I mean, if we don't have discussions like,
Hmm.
about it, I don't think there's ever really going to be any healing if we just believe all the negative,
Yep.
I mean, like you kind of alluded to, when you made your transition from the police force, there was just like people were only coming at you with the negative, with the problems.
Right.
You need to get in something where there's more positive, where there's more opportunity for growing, in the a positive environment. Um, if everybody just stays and believes all the negative and just focuses on the negative, man, that affects life. And so, you
Right.
know,
Hmm.
I love those guys, and I definitely look forward to doing more to help them and connecting with them and just the fellowship.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know,
He's well said. I couldn't say any better. Yep. Exactly.
and well, Mike, we've been on almost an hour now. I think we brought everything current.
I'm like, I'm not that interesting. I was surprised. I'm surprised at the time. I'm like, I figured we'd be done in 10 minutes. So,
No, man. I mean, like I,
uh,
I guess when it's the life you're living, it's kind of like you're normal, But
yeah,
for me, um, I admire you greatly for all you've accomplished. How, like I said, that mission focus, that growth mindset. I'm envious, because it's like I'm still like I got my own demons I'm still working through, even though I thankfully addictions now, you know in
right.
the rear view, but like I want to surround myself with people that are growing, that are positive and stuff like that. That's why I'm so grateful to have you as a brother and a friend,
Well,
you
I
know,
appreciate it,
to
and likewise too.
inspire me and pull me out, and I try now just to surround myself with, like, the guys in my jujitsu team and the guys that I run with in recovery to, because by myself, man, it's really easy for me to get back into that victim
Sure.
mindset or that, um, just that negative thinking. And, that's not where I want to go. And I know there's a lot of other fellow veterans and just people in general that struggle with those same things. And I guess that's what I'm trying to do with this podcast, is to keep providing hope and providing, you know, uh, tools
Yep.
for people to maybe pick up and use in their own lives. Um, but before we get ready to wrap up, I want to ask you some of the questions that I normally ask guests that I have on here. And my big involvement in with when we would go to concerts together and involved in the local music scene and stuff like that. Music's always been a thing, and I always have like musicians on here usually as well. So always got to have music related questions. But who are your top three bands?
That's a good question. Talk about that or watch. Think about that too with my older son a lot. I'm going to see the Who in October. I'm taking my sons to Columbus. Um,
Nice.
yeah, I'm so excited about that. I mean, who never thought that they would still be around. Um, I'm not going to say they were one of my top three, but over time things kind of changed. I mean, I think we saw Guns N' Roses together, didn't we? I mean,
I
I
think
mean, so
so.
yeah, I think Guns N' Roses is probably still AC/DC. Like Black Sabbath, I mean, I guess more older. I guess is kind of what I'm into at the time, But yeah, I would say probably those three are probably my top right now.
I remember running into you, and I think it was Mitch at Blossom.
Yeah.
Was
Oh,
it? Was it?
um,
I'm
what
trying
was
to
he?
remember what
Purple,
concert
right?
that was, though.
Purple and Alice Cooper. Yeah,
Yeah.
Deep Purple's
Okay.
always been my uh,
Yeah.
always one of my favorites. Yeah, it was yeah, yep, that was
Yeah.
yeah, right. Yeah,
Yeah.
we try to hit them all.
Yeah. You and your son Mitch seeing you guys there. That was
Yeah,
cool.
but definitely
So,
more hard, more classic rock, I guess, probably still.
is there a speaking of music, is there a particular song that's like one of your favorite go-tos that's motivational or you find inspirational that like you said, you can when you need that extra push?
I'm going to say just off the top of my head without giving it much thought, maybe Mother from Danzig. I mean, that's always been like a, you know, right in your face to get things a little bit, blood flowing, for a workout or something.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And then being the well-read individual that you are, what's the last book you read?
Believe it or not, so I got stacks of books here. I literally try to do at least one a month. I am just finishing now. Sounds terrible, but a lot to be learned from it because he had a lot of success and a lot of failure. Jordan Belfort's The Way of the Wolf. Just finishing it. Phenomenal.
Oh, nice.
The Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
but a lot to be learned from that guy. It was a really good book. I'll be finished. That's my project for the rest of the morning here. I'll be finishing up that book.
Nice, nice.
Good question.
And then who are three people who've inspired you or you can credit for making you the person you are today?
Well, boy, I mean, my father, great inspiration. He's battled cancer. He's had bypass surgery. Level-headed. Always did the right thing. I would say George Prokopovich too. Again, he was always a good foundation for me. Growing up and then as an adult, of course. And I'm gonna, I mean, not just 'cause I'm on your podcast, but I'm gonna say you too, Bill. I mean, you really, we've connected on all sorts of different levels, from spiritual to emotional to, again, to social. But I'm serious. I mean, you motivate me. You have given a lot of yourself and put yourself out there on Front Street, which a lot of people don't necessarily have the courage to do. You continue to evolve. You continue to improve yourself and your means. And like you said about, you're inspired by me. I'm inspired by you. And a lot of people are. Just for what you're doing on this show is phenomenal. But again, for the promotions you've done in the past, linking people, connecting people, and again, maybe that's why we're still close. But yeah, you continue to you've had problems, but guess what? You've identified them. You could speak about it, and you're moving forward. That's a lot. I mean, again, for you to do that, so I applaud your efforts and your continued progress.
Dick, you're just trying to make me cry on my show.
Hey, put me on a spot. I mean, I'm not just I'm not just saying it. I truly am. I love you like a brother, and again, we've known each other for a lifetime, and I appreciate our connection. And again, we don't have to connect every week or don't talk every week, but when we do, jumps right back into normal. No matter what
Yeah.
we got going on. So that's cool. I value that. I truly do.
Thanks, man. Thank you very much. I love you too, man.
Thank you.
Um, and then what would you want your legacy to be when Mike's no
Yeah,
longer here?
it's all done and over with. Just say hey, I could he did his best. He raised you know raised three good sons, and the rest is history. So
Yeah.
again, I like to plan for the long term and stuff like that. But the stuff that we do today, again, I'm pumped now, man. The rest of the day is a good day because of this podcast. So again, our value proposition for each other is just you know phenomenal. Every day is a good day. You got to make the best of it. So
Amen. And then what was your favorite toy as a child?
Rock'em Sock'em Robots. You remember those? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and Stretch Armstrong too. That was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, my buddy Frank from Hatebreed was on not too long ago, and he was talking about Stretch Armstrong too. And then because we were just like dicks, we'd find a way to poke through that rubber
Yep.
skin, and then
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
black rubber ooze was
Yep.
inside.
Right. Right. Yep. Yep. Good stuff.
And then you know what message? I mean, there's so much, especially going on right now. Um, with our brothers and sisters still serving today. But what message do you have for our military members currently serving overseas?
Yeah. Stay strong. Stay focused. Know that their purpose is not in vain. That they're doing something that is for the greater good. So um, forward march. Keep it going forward.
Awesome. And then yeah, so if people want to I mean, I guess while we're on the topic now, um if people are inspired by hearing what we've talked about, and especially with the current project with Ridall and everything, and want to maybe get involved or donate in some way or support your cause and mission, where would you send them to get in contact?
I mean, you could email me or text me or call me, whatever. I don't. I mean, email would be team Michael Lewis, TEAM, and my name at gmail.com. My
Okay.
number, I can give my number if you want. I mean, it doesn't
Yeah, you
matter.
don't have to give your number or anything on here, but uh,
Email me, fine. That's fine.
yeah, yeah, they can email you, and yeah, hopefully, like you said, once the weather breaks, man, we'll get hot and
Right.
rolling again with that. And I mean, please make sure you give them my love and let them know I haven't forgot about them when you see them on Tuesday, and I'll be back out there soon
Cool. I
with
will.
some reinforcements.
Yep.
Um, and then one last favor before I let you go, Mike. Usually, when I have a fellow veteran on, I have them introduce themselves at their last rank that they held or whatever. But if petty officer, whatever. But if you wouldn't mind cutting a promo ID for the show.
Yeah. Petty officer, third class. I transferred. I was a gunner's mate. Michael Lewis.
All right, yeah. So just you know, introduce yourself, and you're listening to today's Boondoggle.
I'm sorry.
Just
Oh,
introduce yourself, and you're listening to today's Boondoggle, like you're giving a radio
today
plug.
you're listening to today's Boondoggle. Uh, Petty Officer Third Class, Michael Lewis. Thanks for listening.
All right, man.
It's close.
Um, appreciate you taking the time with me this morning, man, and
Likewise.
always good catching up. And we'll do it in person again here shortly.
Looking forward to it, my brother. Thank you so much. Appreciate the opportunity.
All right, you take care, brother. Enjoy the